The new Dark Angels Codex is out. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek video. Today I am coming to you to talk about the Dark Angels and kind of the position they're in here. I apologize for my voice. It's still not quite back yet. It was getting better, and then I decided to scream a lot at an improv class. So that is what I get, and that's what I deserve. But I tried to give it a rest and not do a video, and I probably should have just done it anyway. I'm doing it here. We're doing it live, and we're getting a video out to you guys because I've been sitting on this, and part of the reason I haven't talked about this yet is that I am very conflicted about this. The new models were shown, and I was ecstatic. I think they look great. I love the new Deathwing Knight models. I love the new Asmodai. I love the new Belial. I love all of it. I love the new companions, Inner Circle companions, just like fantastic models, super rad. I really like what they're doing with them, and I love the new bulkier style. They just seem more intimidating, more of a presence, more of what you would expect from a Terminator, and they're just rad. They really are rad. And then I looked at the book, and I'm not gonna lie, my first impression was like blown out of the water. I was very upset. I was sitting there, and I'm like, okay, Talon Masters are gone. Okay, the Strike Master's gone. Okay, the Deathwing Command Squad's gone. Okay, Deathwing Knights can only go in a group of 5. Okay, and their weapons are decidedly worse now. And I'm like, okay, it can't get much worse, right? And then the Lion, they nerfed the Lion as if the Lion needed nerfing for some reason. Like, oh man. But that's a lot of salt, and that's enough salt that you've already heard. And at this point, I gotta throw a potato in me and just like get that salt out of there, because the fact is, this is the book as we have it. Like, things may change, points may change, but this is the book, and that's what we got to deal with, and that's what we're gonna live with. And as a Dark Angel fanboy, I'm probably gonna be playing them a bunch. If I'm being honest, I'm not sure how to play them quite necessarily in a competitive list yet, but I am gonna be playing with them, and if that's the case, I'm gonna try my best to do what I can. So what does this mean now for what we're gonna do? I think, just at its bare basic bones, Dark Angels lists have now changed. Like, just this, like they're just changed now. They're just totally different. The fact that our Terminator squads can't have Thunder Hammer Storm Shields thrown in there and mixed in to keep them alive as much, it's going to change things. So now we're left with a position that we're not going to play the game, the lists the same way that we had played the list previously. So what do? And that's what you have to think about it as, is like, okay, this is the hand I've been dealt. Let's play it as best we can. So I look at this list, I look at the codex, and I look at what we have, and I've always been bad with bikes. So if you're looking to me to kind of come up with some kind of fun Raven Wing thing that we can go with it, I think you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm really bad at bikes. I've never been good at bikes. I've tried it a lot, and I don't know what to do with them, especially now that the Talon Master's gone. He was like the one Raven Wing thing I knew what to do with. So with that in mind, I'm going to lean into what I do best, which is like the 1,000 Terminators that I have, and going with a Deathwing list. And I think the Unforgiven list really have some work that we can do, some legs that we can do some things with. I think playing around with the Deathwing, keyword, and playing around with what we can with being able to get some extra hits onto different objectives could be strong. I think that there's ability to have units that can get Deathwing to make them mobile and therefore able to move and run at whatever objective that we want to. I think that Dark Angels are going to be very much gunning for points. We're not going to be slaughtering armies off the board. It's just the reality. I think that's also the reality with Space Marines. I think Space Marines are designed now to play for the points, and I think you can do that very well with the Dark Angels. For instance, I think that I'm going to possibly go forward with a set objectives as opposed to the tactical objectives. I really like playing tactical objectives, and for a long time I haven't really seen how to really make set objectives work for the armies that I've been playing with. But finally, because I don't like to go into a tournament being like, oh, well, if he has big things, I'll do bring it down. And if he has this, I'll do that. Because I can't depend upon what I'm going to face in a tournament. If I'm going in there to a regular RTT and I'm facing 3 armies and I'm expecting to face a knight, and I say that I'm going to go in with the idea of going against knights and I'm going to bring it down and that's what it's going to do for me. Or I'm going to go against like a parking lot guard list and I'm going to take, bring it down. Like, you can't depend on it. And if you can't depend on it, then to me, you're not planning for how you're going to play the list. Because all the lists I've taken so far have been with the idea of going tactical, because I've not been planning on going for set objectives, and I go tactical, and that's how I do. And I play pretty well, and I do pretty well with that in mind. But now with this, I believe that the Deathwing have a way to really gun for set objectives. I think that you can have... what's the one where you take the four quarters? I believe that we've got the ability to do that. We can do behind enemy lines pretty effectively. And there's ways to make it happen and ways to do it that I think are going to be strong for us to be able to go forward and get points that we need to win the game. What I'm thinking is maybe 2 Deathwing Knight squads, 2 5-man Deathwing Knight squads. One of them you put in with a character who can take the Deathwing Assault relic or enhancement to allow it to drop in turn 1 behind enemy lines. We have the stratagem now there for 1 CP that'll allow them to go more than 3 inches away, which makes them very difficult. A 5-man or 6-man squad, I guess, because you got the character that can go 3 inches away from the enemy is strong. And I think it's good. I think that it's going to be the ability to get you behind enemy lines. It's very difficult to screen out an entire, every single inch. Screening out 9 inches, yeah, you can do that pretty easily. But screening out 3 inches of everywhere in your deployment zone, most armies, I would think, would not be able to do that unless you're going against GSC. But even against GSC, they're probably, especially if you go first, or even if you don't go first, they're not going to want to just fill their back line with that just to keep you away there. So you drop down that 5-man Deathwing Knight squad, and they've still got 4 wounds. They've still got to be -1 to wound. They're going to be tough to take down, is what it comes down to. And, maybe you look into, just focusing on keeping them alive there, and you're getting your points from behind enemy lines. You put them in 1 quarter, and then you have maybe a squad of the Vanguard veterans with a captain there that allow them to get into, not even with the captain, you don't even need it with the captain, but it would be fun to get it with the captain. They've got the Deathwing. They can go up, move their 12 inches and advance into the other quarter there. And first turn, you've got your 4 quarters taken, and you're getting full points for that. You're also getting behind enemy lines, and now you're building on your points. You have this second squad of Deathwing Knights that stay in reserves, that come down turn 2 to go back into the behind enemy lines there. Maybe you have some scouts that can do some scout to get into position for holding the quarters there. And then at that point, you're on a roll for your points, for your secondaries there, to get the points that you're going on there. I do believe that we're going to be pretty good at holding objectives and getting the primaries from that, because we can pick an objective that our opponent's on and then try to slaughter them off of them. I think that a 10-man Hellblaster squad, I love Hellblasters, so I'm kind of glad that there's a real play for them here. You put them in there with Azrael, now they've got the Deathwing ability, and now you choose that objective, and now they're Deathwing, and they're getting the benefit for shooting them off of an objective there. You've got Vanguard Vets then, Vanguard Vets with jump packs, now that have the Deathwing keyword. They're going to be able to charge onto an objective and get the ability from that. I really think that there is play for points, but it's a very, very different list than the list that we've been playing with Dark Angels. And I think that's what blew me out of the water, I think, most, is that my lists now are intrinsically different. I don't think the Lion's coming to a competitive list anymore. He's just not going to stay alive. That -1 to wound was huge. It really made a big, big difference in keeping him alive as he was able to get up into position, because he's still moving 8 inches is not bad. But, especially now that he doesn't have a 10-man Deathwing Knight squad to stay around to keep him getting that lone op there, he's going to hurt being able to try to do that. So I don't think the knight, I don't think the lion comes with me to these. Deathwing Knights are not doing the same thing. I think they're just, they're now going to be basically action monkeys, getting me my points that I need for my secondaries, as opposed to being like a big old punchy unit in the middle there. Their weapons are just not as good. They're not going to be able to do as much. The -1 damage to the maces just like blew my mind, because it was like, that was the one thing that they had really going for them. It's like -1 AP is like there's so many ways to just get rid of -1 AP, and then you're just trying to get through armor, and you're hoping that they fail a save, and when they fail a save, they take 3 damage, and it's like, okay, that's great. And especially with damage reductions that are out there and all the feeling the pains and whatever, the 3 damage it felt necessary for them to be effective. And now that they've dropped it down to 2 damage, and you can only take them in 5, you can't even overwhelm them with the number of attacks. They're just like, they're not going to be as effective. And then they increase the points too, which, points will change, but it still felt like it was like, I don't know. I didn't hear too many people like, people don't like it, but I didn't hear people complaining about them like I heard them complain about a lot of other things. So I'm not sure the need for that, especially when they were already going to take away some key units from us. That made it hard, and taking away the Strike Master was going to be a great Deathwing character unit that you could put an enhancement on and put him into a unit to make him work. But and the no model, no rule thing, I get that for the Talon Master being gone. I get that for the Command Squad being gone now that they don't have the sprue. And I guess my apothecary now just has a really fancy chain fist, and my champion, I guess the champion can be used as a Knightmaster, because it's not the flail of the Unforgiven, it's like the the relic weapon of the Unforgiven. So that halberd could be just as good as a flail as an indicator of the thing. But I feel like they could have kept the Strike Master, because you could build a fancy dude bro from the Deathwing Knights kit that they have there. They've got a lot of bits that you can mix and match and make someone cool. And I didn't get that point there. But that said, again, I already said, throw another potato at me. Got to get that salt out, because that's not for salt. Because at the end of the day, it is a game. We play the hand that we are dealt in this game, and we're here to have fun. And the reason I play Dark Angels isn't because they are stompy, awesome, that they're just going to stomp my opponent left and right. I play Dark Angels because they're cool, and I like green. So that's why my bikers are also green, because I like green. But I like my Terminators being in the white armor. It's just, I don't know. Call me crazy. You're probably right, but that's just why I play them. I play them because they're cool. I like them. I like the way they look. I like the way they play. And there is play. I don't think I've solved the entirety of it there, but I think that there's play there. I think Deathwing Knights dropping 3 inches back there and holding back there, getting me behind enemy lines, getting me in the table quarters. Vanguard Vets being able to bump and jump between the objectives, just punching people off there. Throw some storm shields on them. Suddenly they become pretty tough and hard to knock out there. I think that could be super effective. Then Azrael with the Hellblasters getting Deathwing, being able to shoot people off of objectives, I think is going to be super effective. +1 to wound with Hellblasters is pretty good. You're looking at even Knights getting wounded on 4s or something like that. So, I'll take it. I'll take it when you get to do that, and just move forward with the ability to be able to do that. Where are they going to fall? I don't know. I don't think they're going to be, competing for top dog. But again, maybe that's not necessarily what we're looking to do with these guys. We're looking to have fun, and that's what I'm going to keep doing with them and keep playing with them. But yeah, my first impression was probably about the same first impression that I think everyone had there, which was like a little blown out of the water, then like a little confused, and then like a whole bunch of just like not super happy about it. But now that it's settled and I've let the temperature lower a bit, and I threw the potato in and I got the salt out, I feel like there is some play with them, and there's some way to make them forward. Inceptors are still rad. Love the plasma. Dropping 3 inches away, shooting with plasma is still fun. Vanguard Vets are with jump packs are a new thing that I'm really going to look into. Maybe throw some storm shields on my old assault marines. I think the biggest change is going to have to be me thinking of Deathwing Knights, not the way I have before. I've thought of them almost purely as a 10-man brick to just go bully objectives, bully armies, stay there forever, and then just punch things really hard. That's not what they're there for now anymore. I think they're going to stick around. They're going to be hard to remove, but there's only 5 of them, and they're not going to be running into combat because their weapons are, garbage, if I'm being honest. I don't think they're going to be good in combat anymore. And I think that their best bet is probably just to sit back there, hold objectives. And at 290 points, objectives win the points win games. So that's when you got to go, and you got to get those points from that. And I think they're probably the best bet to get you that behind enemy lines first turn, and to keep getting you points that way. So maybe one or two, maybe not even two, maybe just one to get that first turn, and then hopefully get someone else back there. Maybe some Inceptors dropping in turn 2 back there, and doing that. Pushing our opponents off the objectives with the Unforgiven rule, which I think would be good, giving the Deathwing to a whole bunch of stuff. Making Redemptors Unforgiven now because they got the Deathwing is pretty good. And I just think that there is play there that we can do. Land Raiders are pretty good. Maybe have some Land Raiders. Maybe a Terminator squad inside of a Land Raider would be kind of fun to be able to move them up into the objective, shoot off with the Land Raider, and then shoot off with and then just assault out there and just run up into the objectives. So yeah, I think that there is play. I think that there is a future for the Dark Angels. I think it's a very different future than the past that we've had. And it's going to take some work to try to figure this all out. But I'm going to do it because that's what I want to do, because I love the Dark Angels and I want to play them. And I'm not just going to accept that, just because the book didn't do everything I wanted it to, that I've now got to shelve my army, because I don't know, that always seems like garbage. The only reason I shelve an army is if I just legitimately don't enjoy playing them. And I don't think anything that changed in this book makes them unenjoyable to play. I think that the changes in the book make it different, and that's disconcerting. I know it is disconcerting because you feel a little misfooted there, where you thought you were going on the right step, and now the rug pulled out from under you, and you try to figure out where you're going. Just because the rug got pulled out from under you doesn't mean the floor is pulled out from under you. Look to make a landing, dust yourself off, and move forward. As for the lion. And for the Emperor, and we'll make it happen. So, what do you guys think? What have you found in the Codex? I saw something about Black Knights being super good, but again, like I said, I am awful at bikes, and I don't see myself being able to make hide nor hair out of it in this edition any better than I have in previous editions. But let me know what you think. Are you going bikes? Are you going with the Unforgiven? Are you going with the Deathwing? What are you going with? Let me know. I think mixed wing's probably the way forward, but I'm not, I'm always open to hear what you guys have to say about the Dark Angels, which way you're going to take with them, what characters you're going to put in, what enhancements, what's your game plan going forward with this. And let me know what you think down in the comments below. And, while you're there, give it a like. Why not? Oh man, sound like a YouTuber, which I guess I am. So I guess I should sound like that. But anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed this. I certainly did once I got the salt out. I hope you guys have had a good time. I certainly did. What is it? I hope you guys enjoyed this. I certainly did. I have been Phil the Glacial Geek as always. And until next time, stay safe and have fun. And hopefully I'll be sounding better next time I talk to you. Wah, wah, wah.